Today, as a Tesla stock investor, I am pleasantly surprised because I look at Morgan Stanley. They cut Q1 delivery substantially from 469,000 down to 425,000 only now, but they did not change their Tesla stock price target. They actually reiterated their $320 12-month price target. This is a bit unexpected for analysts. Usually when they cut earnings or deliveries, they cut their price targets too, and they reiterated that this has nothing to do with FSD trials, meaning them not lowering their price target. Anyway, this is a bit surprising news to me because they haven't cut their Tesla stock price target. And now let's go through all of the Tesla stock news. Tesla objects to Mexico's proposed rules for electric charging stations. Tesla says requiring that a station offer different types of charging adds technical complexity, creates additional entry barriers, increases the cost of the stations, and is an incentive for new participants interested in offering vehicles in the country not to carry out the necessary development and investment in its production for regional integration, mainly affecting the consumer experience. I don't think Mexico wants to upset Tesla, so it would make sense to concede to Tesla here, because why would you want Tesla to delay its factory in Mexico even further? Make it easy for Tesla to come into the country. And if there is a company that knows a lot about charging, it is Tesla, so maybe listen to Tesla about charging. Also, Mexico is not a rich country compared to the US at least. So why do you want to make things more expensive for the consumers? If you standardize everything and you are choosing the best standard, and Tesla standard is the best, you're actually making it cheaper for people to operate electric vehicles in Mexico. Tesla is now advertising directly on the Cars.com homepage. Cars.com gets 27 million website visits per month. That's quite a lot. I don't think these are unique visits, are they? Probably not. Anyway, Tesla is certainly a lot more serious about advertising now, especially now that Q1 growth is not going to be as high as many people have thought in the beginning of the quarter. We have seen Tesla just start advertising on Facebook and Instagram, and I would expect these advertising efforts to continue. And I really think this could be another huge Tesla stock catalyst if it's done right. I mean, look back at some of the older Apple commercials. If Tesla can adopt a really creative strategy that not only appeals to people's logic, but also to people's emotion, I think that's where a lot of opportunity would be. But in the long term, the most important thing for Tesla, I believe, is to keep cutting the cost so that you can sell the vehicles for a lower price, beat everyone on price. There is no real benefit to being the second cheapest option, but there's huge benefit to being the least expensive option, being the most affordable option for most people. But I was on a trip just now and I asked some people about Teslas. I was in the US, and yeah, many people don't really know much about Teslas, those people that don't follow Tesla actively. So there's certainly a big catalyst waiting to happen if Tesla executes advertising right. I don't mind that catalyst being delayed because I'm still buying more Tesla stock. So if it happens later on, I'm fine with it. And the biggest catalyst that I see in the medium term are the next generation vehicle, of course, and FSD, possibly it could be that as well. Yesterday, Tesla stock was up mostly because of FSD, I believe. And today, Tesla stock is up already as I'm recording. And the markets are up slightly, but not much. Tesla is also attending a lot more of these automotive shows. Tesla is set to appear at Poland's largest automotive show for the first time. It will be held from April 4th to 7th. FSD beta is officially on the 2024 branch. This means everyone in North America will soon get access to FSD beta V12.3.2, except me. I don't have it yet. I don't have FSD V12 yet, but soon I expect to have it. Oh, and right, Tesla Canada does confirm that this is the version that is expected to be in Canada. I'm finally going to get it, and it's probably just days away. Here's a look at the new improved driving visualizations in this update. This appears to look just like the visualizations on cars with FSD in September 2021. Elon Musk said they would enable FSD visualizations for all cars hopefully next month. Well, it's finally coming. And Tesla is reposting FSD videos. Under your supervision, FSD V12.3 can drive your Tesla almost anywhere. And it handles construction, well, at least in this case, it does that pretty well. Look at all this. No issues at all. And check this out. We are turning into more construction. The passengers are saying this shouldn't be here, but it is here, and Tesla is navigating it without any issues anyway. And I also like how the steering wheel, it's stable. It's confidence inspiring. It's very unlike V11, which does a lot of this. So this is great. Here's the new auto park feature in action. Let's see if it's going to be smooth. I haven't seen the video before yet. All right. Okay, that's already... It's a bit slow so far, so I'm not going to use it. But they can make it faster. So far, it looks pretty comfortable. A bit slow, but that's okay, because... Alright, so it was a bit slow for my liking, but it parked very well. Not fast, but very well. And when it comes to robot taxis, you don't need fast, you just need right. No mistakes. But later on, as this feature gets rock solid and it works every single time without any issues ever, I want all of the parking spots to just pop out automatically when I enter a parking lot, and I just press one button and it just does it. So that way I don't need to hold anything, wait for the parking to start happening. I just want to press the button and then boom, the car starts parking immediately. Otherwise, I'm just not going to use it because it's just faster to park manually. And here's parallel parking. Let's see how it does.
Here we are in Austin, Texas at the Domain. We're parking behind a Rivian and another car. Okay.
So that was a bit slow.
There's a Y waiting behind us. Really?
But slow is not bad if it gets it right.
It is. Okay, we're going pretty close. About a foot away. 2 feet maybe.
Okay.
Okay, nice.
So the only part that was a bit slow was just getting into the position, but then once it started going back, I was totally happy with it. It did, I think, a much better job than most women and men. Yeah, most people, or many people, cannot get it right the first time. Tesla just got it right the first time. And I also really loved how at the end, it just straightened out the wheel. And Caleb says that it actually parked faster than he could have. So I would certainly welcome this feature on everyone's vehicles. Now, for me personally, it wasn't fast enough, so I won't be using it. But for some people, I think it could be pretty useful. But we would need to test this like 1,000 times. And if it does it right 1,000 times, no dents or anything, okay, maybe then it's a good idea for everyone to start using it if you cannot parallel park fast. But yeah, I know that some people are pretty slow with parallel parking, and this would be a great feature for them. We are continuing our segment of no intervention drives from people you have never heard of. It's like every single day we find new ones. Tesla FSD V12.3, full day of driving from Porter, Texas to downtown Houston in the morning and then back to Porter in the evening. 60 total miles, 80 minutes, 0 disengagements. And not only that, 0 interventions, and not only that, 0 honks, 0 anxiety, 100% confidence. That's crazy. And it's not Austin or San Francisco. It's Houston, and it's only gonna get better from here on. Sawyer was amazed by this video. Let's see what happens here. I haven't seen the video yet. Oh, so our Tesla here pulled forward to let that other car pass. I have never seen FSD do anything like that. That's human-like behavior. Here's another person you have never heard of raving about FSD. Guys, 0 disengagement through a variety of cities: Woodbine, Columbia, Clarksville, Ellicott City, in morning traffic with 1-lane roads and flaggers. Here are 5 more videos, all showing previous definite disengagement problem spots that are now handle like a human. First up, another yield, you should roll and merge, handle perfectly. Previously, it would stop fully. Then a crazy left turn, previous builds would be too hesitant to commit to. Finally, a series of lane confusion scenarios. This whole video would have been 3 to 4 disengagements alone on V11. And it's a 3.5-minute video.
Turn. What's it gonna do? Holy crap. It already signaled, before I even saw the cones, it was already signaling and getting over and basically mimicking the truck in front of me. 1149 would definitely have not done that. All right, it's panicking a little bit here, but there's a dude right there, right by the cones, so I'm okay with that. Wow. All right, I'm gonna push it just a little bit, let it know it's okay, go a little faster. Holy crap, that was so good. Dude, let's go.
Maybe videos like that is why Morgan Stanley did not change its Tesla stock price target despite reducing Q1 delivery projections from 469,000 to now 425,000. And here's another video with no disengagements from someone who is not Omar's catalog. In other words, Omar. And 70 miles, so it's not a short drive. Oh, someone is actually getting FSD V12.3 in Canada right now. I need to go check myself. Okay, just went to check, and I feel like a teenager again. I got my heart broken. One more time, it's not here yet. And it's not just one person getting it here in Canada, in Vancouver, it's multiple people. The fastest way to get FSD V12 is to purchase a new Model S or X vehicle. All of them seemingly now come with FSD V12. I actually agree with Omar here. I think Tesla should actually do this. From years ago, there's this study of The Economist offering free puzzling subscription options, web only for $59 a month, print only for $125 a month, or print and web for $125 a month. Now, you might wonder, who in their right mind would consider the $125 print-only option? And indeed, when this professor surveyed his students, he found that almost nobody chose it. But when he ran the experiment with only web versus print, 68% opted to go web only. That was starkly different from when free options were presented, and 84% opted for the combination deal. So that third bad option actually shows the value of the other option, which otherwise would not look nowhere near as good. So for FSD, maybe Tesla should add a daily option, $20 for a day, $200 for a month, $12,000 for the life of your car. The addition of the new entry-level option, I believe, will actually increase subscriptions and outright purchases too. The $20 looks cheaper standing next to the $12,000, and the $200 looks like a good deal for anyone who uses the software more than 10 days a month. I'm not saying Tesla should do this right now, but maybe later on. Right now, just get the free trials out there so that everyone has an experience with it. Have them get addicted to it if it really is that good as many of the videos online suggest. I have done some split testing for e-commerce products and information-based products, and I have found that the most important thing is to never assume anything, really. I mean, there are best practices, but in the end, test, 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 test. So even if this ends up not being worth it, I think Tesla should still test it and see if it does work. Here's another note from Morgan Stanley. Tesla and CATL, can this battery power couple recharge the US EV market? In our review, Tesla is in a very strong position to on-ramp Chinese EV tech to the US in leveraging Chinese manufacturing know-how. Tesla can deliver a $25,000 EV and drive EV adoption in the US. And so Morgan Stanley reiterated its overweight rating on Tesla stock, believing the stock will go up. So Morgan Stanley remains firmly bullish on Tesla stock. Morgan Stanley also sees the US as an underpenetrated EV market, but China as an oversupplied battery market that is fully penetrated for now. It is interesting though that Morgan Stanley cut its delivery target for this quarter without cutting its price target. And James has a few thoughts about Tesla's deliveries. Delivery struggles this quarter boil down to basically two things. Number one, China, and number two, slow ramp of the Model 3 production following the refresh affecting the US Model 3 sales. Europe, Canada, and the rest of the world, not too bad, he says. Not that anyone cares about deliveries anymore anyway. Yeah, it seems like the sentiment has shifted a little bit away from the deliveries. For those that do care about deliveries a lot still, they will be released on April 2nd between 8:30 a.m. and 9 a.m. Eastern time. So it's going to be Tuesday. Maybe I will do a quick live stream. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the live stream on this channel or the Clips channel. However, I live on the West Coast, so for me that's going to be at 5:30 a.m. Okay, maybe that's a bit too early. Here's another thing for us to remember as Tesla stock investors. On Tesla's balance sheet sit $3.5 billion of deferred revenue, which is mostly FSD related, unrecognized revenue. Given what happened in recent weeks, I am thinking how this may have affected Q1. I think Tesla would be fully justified to recognize a significant portion of that deferred revenue. AJ estimates that Tesla will recognize $50 million, so that's only 1 cent for EPS. Tesla's leader in China just did an interview. She reiterated the importance of the Chinese market for Tesla, calling it a must-have basically for Tesla. Number 2, we will continue to increase our investment in the Chinese market and we are doing our best to provide better quality. Number 3, the Shanghai R&D Innovation Center achieved several achievements and applied them to global products. I think she's talking about the Model 3. And number 4, in the future, the Shanghai R&D Center will grow as large as the size of the North American R&D Center. So we should expect more vehicles to be developed in China by Tesla, or maybe just refreshes. Elon Musk replied to this post with "We are." Here's an example of why Tesla needs to heavily advertise their prices, as Matthew, literally no one I know in real life, believes you can buy a new Model Y in the 30,000s.
Or even today, honestly, you could get a Model Y for $50,000, $55,000. And is there any reason to consider this one over those?
Okay, so even Marcus sort of slightly misspoke there, or maybe not so slightly, because you can get a rear-wheel drive Model Y for $44,000. You apply the federal tax credit, which almost everyone qualifies for in the US, and it's only $36,500. It is not $50,000 unless you want this one, but that's still under $50,000. And if you get a Model 3, it's under $40,000 without any of these federal tax credits. And a lot of people watch Marcus, so some of the people that watched that video, they're gonna go, oh yeah, Teslas are, yeah, they are $50,000, and I'm not willing to spend that much money. Maybe I would be willing to spend $39,000, but not $50,000, so I'm not even going to consider Tesla. There will be people like that after watching that video, and probably a few million people are gonna watch it. Already 500,000 people watched that video. Here's another impressive FSD video. So it's a bit narrow, and V11, you would never even want to attempt anything like this. But over here, yeah, look at how close it was to that grass. It was pretty close. And this gate is pretty narrow, and yet the car is going. Well, I mean, it stopped for a little while, but now it says, I can handle it. I'm gonna go slowly and carefully. And it's pretty close. And done. Wonderful. There's quite an argument between Omar and Gary Black. Instead of admitting he was wrong about FSD, Gary doubles down and demonizes anyone who is excited. I'm not sure who is worse, Tesla bears, who widely exaggerate every negative data point. For example, Q1 delivery is likely down year over year, but 30,000 of that is due to one-time Model 3 Fremont changeover, which is resolved, or Tesla stock bulls who pump every positive development. For example, bulls say FSD V12.3 will push FSD take rates above 50%. Okay, I don't think it's going to be 50%, even though FSD V12.3 is not close to 99.9% intervention free. Do your own research. Gary replied to Omar, LOL, a little revisionist history, Omar. I have been right about FSD not being included in a robotaxi evaluation for 5 years, and my 10 to 15% FSD take rate has been spot on. You said that Tesla was worth $1 trillion based on the auto business alone, based on assumptions that turned out to be flawed. The earnings growth is coming from the AI side of the business you didn't understand. I was wrong, says Gary. You forget that Tesla cut prices by 15 to 20% and destroyed 50% of their earnings power, which is making the competition suffer. And some of these companies are going out of business, like Fisker. So you destroy Tesla's earnings power in the long term or in the short term? I think it's only in the short term. But Gary also said, just to be clear, FSD progress as shown by V12.3 is nothing short of incredible to me. This huge progress only impacts Tesla stock if, number one, FSD take rates double or triple. I'm not sure about tripling, but I am pretty sure they will certainly increase, which should also, in theory, sell more Teslas, because some people will want to get a Tesla just because they saw a really good FSD video. Number two, Tesla sells more Teslas because of FSD. And number three, investors attach a higher PE to Tesla because of the robotaxi opportunity later in the future. So yeah, there's a bit of drama going on X. Cybertruck production continues to ramp. Joe Tagmeyer estimates that it is now near 900 to 1,000 per week. We saw an update from Tesla about the batteries, but we haven't reached 1,000 per week for Cybertruck production yet, at least not officially, but soon it is likely to be official. And at this rate, Farzad says 50,000 Cybertrucks sold in 2024 seems likely, which would make it the best-selling EV pickup truck in the world. Joe Tagmeyer projects 80,000 Cybertruck deliveries this year. Oh, good lord, please don't do this. The guy must have received FSD V12 update and he pressed update and then the car stopped moving in the car wash. Please don't do any Tesla software updates out there in the public unless you are parked in an actual parking spot. The guy in the video says, don't buy a Tesla, basically, so let's not create some negative publicity for Tesla. Solid-state batteries could potentially increase the ranges of EVs by a substantial amount, but the founder and chief executive of CATL throws cold water on solid-state batteries being commercialized anytime soon at massive scale. And we know that Toyota is trying to make this work. I would add, even if they do solve the problems, he lists you still have to find a way to produce them cheaply. The challenge is for them all around to be better than liquid electrolyte batteries in applications that demand high volumes of batteries. I don't see that on the horizon anytime soon. You will definitely see gimmicks and slick marketing presentations, but don't be fooled. Everything they say is usually true. It's what they don't tell you that really matters. I find the limiting factor to be the best source for anything related to batteries. If you haven't subscribed to his YouTube channel, I recommend you do. Omar shared how much he pays for his Tesla. For his Model S, he pays $300 a month, $200 in insurance, and then $100 in electricity. But for the Cybertruck, he does have a $1,700 monthly payment, $200 in insurance per month, and then $350 per month in electricity. He's been driving a lot. I personally purchased the Tesla vehicle in cash. I should have probably did financing and just put that money in Tesla stock. I would have been able to buy many more Teslas. This is actually quite big news. It's a moment in history is the best way to put it. Volvo's last diesel model, the XC90, marks the end of an era. The automaker's 45-year bond with diesel, responsible for half of its global sales from 2012 to 2016, came to an end on March 26, 2024. This is the world's first mass-produced 900-volt EV drive system, which can charge in 5 minutes. Okay, that was slightly misleading because I don't think it charges to 80% in 5 minutes. It gives you 150 miles in 5 minutes. Still pretty good. In 10 minutes, basically, you're ready to go. The peak power stands at 600 kilowatts. This is, of course, bullish for Tesla stock when reputable investors start buying more Tesla stock. This investor is buying Tesla stock. Seems like his firm has $8.6 billion under management. Now, he sold Tesla stock in the fourth quarter of 2022. Hopefully, he didn't sell in December, though, at $100. I assume he sold way before that. But now he's back. Specifically, he bought Tesla stock, I guess, on February 16th. So this is not new news, but it's relatively new. The hedge fund picked up 456,000 Tesla shares, making it the 9th largest holding out of 11 total. Previously though, he was bearish on Tesla stock in 2019 and 2020. We have earnings from BYD, and BYD stock is down 3.5%. BYD struggles to meaningfully increase its lackluster profitability, which stands at 5.1%. BYD doubled its research and development expenses year over year. BYD's Q4 operating profit dropped below Q4 2022's, despite a 14% year-over-year revenue growth, and operating margin decreased to 6.9%. Oh, but the reducing operating margin year-over-year was not driven by reducing gross margin, which actually strengthened, but was almost entirely driven by a doubling in research and experiment expenses, since R&D expenses saw only a 20% increase year-over-year. With 8.1% of revenue, BYD is amongst the highest spenders on research and development. I don't think it's a bad idea to spend a lot of money on research and development if you are developing good products. Due to its scale, BYD's efficiency ratio has dropped for the first time below 2% of revenue. Selling expenses, though, remain elevated. BYD had strong free cash flow, which was driven by both strong operating cash flow and a significant reduction in capital expenditures. Compared to Q3, BYD's net income, though, was lower.